Well, now joining us here on A's Cast Live is a very dear friend, a longtime A's fan, a guy that you probably have seen behind home plate many of times in the diamond level seats, just didn't know it was actually him. But he's one of the great football coaches, especially here in Bay Area history, the championships that he has won with the San Jose SaberCats. I know we have so many A's fans who are SaberCats fans, and they watched arena football. They watched the Arena Bowls. He's now back out of retirement. He's done being a media guy. He's back in the game as the head coach of the Bay Area Panthers. The Hall of Famer, Darren Arbet is with us here on A's Cast Live. Coach, welcome back to the business. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Chris, but you're making me feel old. Someone came that works for the Bay Area Panthers came up and wanted to do my bio. And I said, sure, I'll sit down with her. And I looked and I go, Abigail? And she said, yes. I remember when she was born, Chris. Your daughter. This is amazing.
Yeah, it just shows how my daughter's been working a part of your guys' PR, and it's come full circle. I think, I'm going to be at the game. Your first game is going to be on Sunday. I was thinking about it, Coach. I've never watched an Arena Football League game from the stands. I've always been in the end zone, doing the sidelines, whether it's radio, whether it's TV. I've never just got to hang out with everybody. I can't wait for your first game. Check out the schedule, BayAreaPanthers.com. Season opener coming up here, 5:05 versus the hated Arizona Rattlers. I know it's going to be a big deal, but just for you, I know for years people have asked, well, is Coach ever going to come back? And I was like, no, he's retired. He's playing golf. He's now a TV guy with that pretty face. What did they have to do? I mean, you're one of you're if not the greatest arena coach of all time. You've been a coach in the outdoor game. What did they have to do to bring you out of retirement?
So, yeah, I was done. I told them no a few times. I was happy doing TV and radio for them, and I also do TV for Sacramento State football as well. But they got to the balls, Chris. Roy Choi, the owner, flew down to Arizona and talked to my wife, convinced her that I needed to be back in the game again. And anytime the boss says you can go do it and make that decision, here I am. And I'm excited about this season.
I think about times, obviously, all about the A's. You're a longtime A's fan as a kid growing up in Stockton, and you remember all the good years of the 70s and winning the World Series. And I just think of recently, when we talked to Mark Kotze, our manager, or we talked to Bob Melvin, and in certain years where the team's going to be younger, they talk about getting back to coaching, getting back to doing the fundamentals, getting back to what they love about the game, and really developing players. How much of the coaching aspect, you can be around it from a television standpoint, but how much did you just miss being out there on the field, developing players, getting to know players, molding players, building and molding teams? How much did you miss that?
I missed it a lot, but I think I did a good job. I got two guys who have won championships in the IFL. Coach Rob Keefe is, in my mind, the best defensive coordinator in indoor football. Then I got Dixie Wooten. He was the coach of the Iowa Barnstormers, head coach there. He won a championship, two-time coach of the year in this league, and he played quarterback in the league. So the learning curve is going to be a little shorter for me because I'm able to sit down with them every day and learn this IFL game, and they've taught me a lot.
Well, the Bay Area Panthers, needed to get a spark, and bringing you in obviously has gotten that spark, is now not playing at Oracle or Oakland Arena, as they call it now. You're now back where you coached and won championships at SAP Center. And I'm thinking about your coverage. I'm seeing the CW. You're going to have the great Vern Glenn. Love Vern. He's going to be doing a preview show for you. You've got games on TV. You got games on 95.7 The Game. I mean, not only does bringing in Darren Arbet mean you're building a football team, that's, as we say, in between the lines on the field. There's also building the organization off the field, which you know how to do. How important is also bringing that experience going, hey, it's more than just X's and O's. We got to build the entire business.
You know, the good thing about that, and I shared it earlier, I have two guys that have been head coaches in this thing. So what we did, we just sat down and I talked about what worked for me with the SaberCats. Coach Keefe won several Arena Bowls in the AFL in Spokane and in Albany, and then last year as the defensive coordinator in Northern Arizona. So, and Dixie, like I said, in Iowa. So we just sat down and talked about what worked for us and try to combine three different programs together. And that's what we're doing right now. And so far, so good. Things are going well. We feel good about our game on Sunday. It's a tough task, but we want to see where we're at.
You know, for a lot of our fans who are going to watch this and have never been around arena football, we all know football. Arena football is different. It's a very aggressive sport. It's a smaller field. There's a ton of scoring. You know, I learned from you over the years, it's about stops. You get a couple stops a game that you win. It's for kids. It's always action going on, cheerleaders, stuff going into the stands. It's great for kids. It's great for families. The pricing is so fair to bring fans in versus, you know, so many of these families, Coach, can't go to an NFL game. They can't afford it. So this is professional football that you get to see that's affordable, and it's great entertainment. It's been something you've been involved in since your great playing career at Sacramento State. Just talk about, to our fans who have never been to a game before, why they should love arena football, why I fell in love with it, why you fell in love with it as a player, as a coach, why it's such a great product.
The thing about the IFL and doing TV last year, I kind of fell in love with the game. It challenged you a little more than arena football for the simple fact now instead of one guy you can have that motion, you have two guys going in motion. And the linebackers have to stay in the box per se in the AFL. Now one guy can be out of the box. You can have a true zone defense. There's just the nose guard can drop in the coverage. The defensive ends can drop in the coverage. There's just so many different things you can do in this game. And then we have the deuce where if you kick it through the uprights when you're kicking off, you get 2 points. It's just a lot of strategy. And the last week and a half during camp, I've learned so much about this game, and I'm excited to come to practice every day. Usually, you know, you get monotonous, but this is so interesting, and I'm learning so much, and the game is so fast and so many things going on. I love it, and I think the fans will see what I see if they come to the games just right there, and you can keep the balls if they come into the stands, but if the player comes in, you got to throw them back, right?
Well, you know what you're talking about, Coach. I mean, you think about all the years you've been going to A's games. We've always talked about, man, these games are 3 hours and this and 3 hours that. And now with the pitch timer and all the rules, we're shortening the games. We're making them faster pace, no shifting. There's no offense. So it really doesn't matter what league. You could talk about the IFL. You could talk about Major League Baseball. Everywhere we're looking, we're trying to speed up the pace, make it more entertaining. Offense is good, but make it a better product. So whether you're talking about IFL or baseball, everybody's really trying to accomplish the same goal, make it better and faster.
Hey, you know, if you thought Campy Campaneris turning that double play back in the day was exciting, you got to come to an IFL game. I mean, getting that ball to Joe Rudy and all those guys over there, Mike Epstein, love the game. Sal Bando making that long throw from third base back in the day. So, but no, the game is really exciting. There's a lot of things going on, and you're going to see the fast-paced football, and that's the one thing I like about it.
Yeah, and you can read a lot about the players, BayAreaPanthers.com, and you can look at the schedule. You can see the TV schedule, the radio schedule. Obviously, first game everybody needs to check out, going to be this Sunday, 5:05 kickoff against the Panthers at SAP Center, Shark Tank, whatever you want to call it. And the one thing that I learned from the indoor game all those years working around the SaberCats, and now we're going to see it with the Panthers, is when you start looking at the players, these players are fantastic athletes. These are guys that played at major colleges. A lot of these guys have been either in the NFL, they've played camps, they've been a part of training camps in the NFL. You're looking at a lot of dynamic, superb athletes who are still living out that dream for playing professional football, which who knows? It may lead to Canada. It may lead to the NFL. Who knows where they're going to go? But what people are going to see, not only you seeing a good show, but you're seeing, like I'm looking at your website right here. You got a guy that played at USC that you've signed. You make trades. I mean, you're dealing still with some incredible football players.
We really are. You're talking about Malik Dorton. He started on D-line at USC. Then we have Boss Tagaloa, played at the legendary De La Salle High School and went to UCLA, one of the most highest recruited young men coming out of high school ever. We have Dalton Sneed, went to UNLV out of high school. Then from there, he went to Montana, Big Sky Player of the Year. You got D'Angelo Fulford, played in Mount Union. I want to say he was 43-2 there. Mount Union plays in the championship game every year. I mean, just a lot of players that can play the game. And it really is. When I come to practice, it's like I should buy a ticket watching these guys do what they do.
Quarterback is in the indoor game, the outdoor game, no matter what planet you play it on, there's one position in football you got to be good, and it's got to be quarterback.
We have two good ones. It's going to be a game time decision. Dalton Sneed played last year in Sioux Falls, 25 touchdowns. I want to say 3 interceptions, and I think he had 12 or 16 running touchdowns. He played 10 games, played really well. D'Angelo Fulford went to the CFL when he left Mount Union, and then he played in Major League Football or something, one of those leagues. They both can spin it. They both can run. Great leadership ability by both of them. So looking forward to it. We feel great about our quarterback room right now.
No, it's exciting stuff. And once again, you can't beat the action, and you can't beat it for a price. I'm happy for you to be back in the game, because it's where you belong. Not saying you're not good at television. You're still going to do it for your Sac State Hornets, but you know, your alma mater. But there's just something about that's right. You being back in the game. And I know it means a lot for the sport.
I love the game. Speaking of the Hornets, 3 straight Big Sky championship rings. It's pretty cool being able to be a part of that. Coach Taylor's now at Stanford. Stanford got a good one. Excited to go watch and see what he can do at Stanford. Coach Thompson steps in at Sac State. Great. He was the defensive coordinator. Great football coach, and excited about that. See, can he keep it going at Sac State? But our game, Coach Keefe and Coach Dixie Wooten, I think the fans are going to love them offensively and defensively, and what they can do and their understanding of this football game, the IFL, that is.
And that's why we want to get more A's fans and just more fans who are watching the show on board, because football year-round is always great. And your love for the Oakland Athletics, you mentioned some of the guys from the 70s teams, but as a kid growing up, going to the Coliseum, to an adult going to the Coliseum, you've been a big A's fan for a long time.
Love the A's. My dad used to go to all the games, and it was fun. It was great. They were winning. It was awesome day going to those games. We usually went on Sundays. That was the day Dad packed us all in the car and got there.
Yeah, and when you think back, think about the greatness you were watching. You may not have known it then, but you were watching Hall of Famers, some of the greatest players and some of the greatest teams that have ever played in the sport.
Yes. Let's see, can we go? We had Mike Epstein at first, right?
Correct.
Gene Tennis behind the plate?
Correct.
Let's just throw a cleanup guy and Raleigh Fingers on the mound, or Vita Blue started off and Raleigh Fingers cleaning it up.
Yeah.
Right?
Catfish Hunter.
Campy at shortstop, Sal Bando at third,
Yeah.
Billy North in the outfield. Help me out. Who else we talking about in that era?
Reginald
Reggie
Joe
Jackson, Joe Rudy.
Yeah, Dick Green at second base.
Yes, Dick Green. There you go. I mean, there's the lineup. I mean, it was awesome going to those games. Never forget it. Charlie O, MC Hammer in the dugout as the ball boy, right? Dick Williams as the manager. Those were the days, right?
You know, you were kind of in your younger days, you were a little bit like Dick Williams back in the day. Hey, Dick was no nonsense. Like, you hear the stories, like put it this way, Dick Williams never thought that, it's just 162 games. I mean, Dick Williams brought it every day for 6 months.
Heck yeah. Yeah. And love Vida Blue with that high kick, right?
Oh, and the nicest guy, even to this day, Vida Blue. What a star he was, Coach. I mean, you think as a young kid from the South, an African-American kid who's now in the spotlight, right? He's on every cover of every magazine, back when we had magazines, right? Time Magazine, Newsweek, Sports Illustrated. He just became the star of stars at such a young age.
We really did. And we forgot one, John Blue Moon Odom.
Yeah, Ken Holtzman. There was a lot of great players back in those days. I always have to thank you for our relationship and what you did for me in my career. You know, all the years you kept me around doing TV back in the day, being around the SaberCats and collecting a championship ring and being a part of all those championships and traveling the country and you know, going to New Orleans for those Arena Bowls. Those were always special times for me. So I always want to thank you for that, because that, you know, I know it was a long time ago, but it meant a lot to me in my career to be a part of really watching a championship team, watching a dynasty, watching what it is to win, Coach. To win is you're doing the right things every single day. And they're not always the big things. A lot of it's the little things that people don't like to do. But I watched what you did, what you implemented, and a lot of tough decisions. But if you want to win in life, whether it's in football, it's in baseball, it's in business, to be great, it's doing the right thing every day. And even the little things, they end up mattering as much as the big things.
I appreciate that. You were very helpful. You and Bob Fitzgerald traveling with us. I was able to bounce off a lot of things that I didn't want to talk to the coaches about, or to the players or to the owners. And I was able to bounce it off you and people like you and Bob Fitzgerald that really helped me grow as a young head coach at that time.
Well, I got to tell you, the schedule is fantastic. You can check it out. Best place, BayAreaPanthers.com. Watch the games on the CW. Listen to the games on 95.7 The Game. And remember, Sunday kickoff, 5:05. The Arizona Rattlers, Coach Arbet back in business, 5:05 kickoff at the Shark Tank SAP Center. It's going to be great. Good luck for the season. Good luck for the first game, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Okay, thanks. And thanks for having me, Chris. This is awesome, being able to catch up with you. And tell Abigail I said hello.
You're the best, Coach.
Okay, thanks.